Hi, friends. On today's episode, I wanted to give you permission to let go of the stress you have around sharing what you feel with others. I hear so much from people. I want to be able to be vulnerable. I want to be able to share my feelings with others. I struggle to share my feelings with others. And I just want to give you a different perspective on this episode, hopefully, for you to see that sometimes not sharing how you feel with others is what's best for you in that moment. And I explain to you what you can do instead to really help yourself. So I hope you enjoy today's episode. And if you do, be sure to leave me a rating on Spotify. I also want to let you know before we jump in that on May 26th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm hosting a free live journaling workshop. In the workshop, I will be teaching you how to use journaling practices to process your emotions fully and completely. So I'll be walking you through some exercises that I do with my private clients. I'll also be giving you journal prompts that we'll do together live and have a chat about any realizations that come up. And then I'll share with you some resources I've created to guide you in your own personal journeys and support you as you do this work on your own. So I really hope to see you there. The link to register is in the show notes. You can also go to my Instagram at mighty_emotions to register for that free journaling workshop. I can't wait to see you there, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hello and welcome to the Mighty Emotions podcast, where we talk openly about our emotions so that we can have the capacity to receive more of what life has to offer. I'm your host, Giselle. I'm an emotional resilience coach, and my mission is to empower you and equip you with the tools to take control of your life by learning to master your emotions. If you're ready to eliminate negative patterns of avoiding and numbing so you can have inner peace, increase self-esteem, improve your relationships with others, and get more out of life, then keep listening. So today I'm going to share a controversial opinion that I have, and it may shock you because of the work that I do and the space that I'm in. But this is real advice that I give to people, and it's a little bit confusing when you first hear it, but I'm going to explain it in this episode. And that is, stop trying to communicate your emotions to other people. You're going to say, what are you talking about, Giselle? You're an emotional resilience coach. Your whole thing is about communicating your emotions to other people. And I'm going to stop you right there because that is not what I do. It might seem like it's what I do, but it's not. This isn't about teaching you how to communicate your emotions to other people. This is about teaching you how to understand what your emotions are communicating to you. So getting to know our emotions, becoming emotionally resilient, is about getting to know ourselves better. It's about getting to really understand ourselves. And part of really understanding ourselves is understanding what makes us tick and what scares us and what excites us and what makes us sad. All of that makes us who we are. Right? There's important information in our emotions that I teach you how to pull out. I teach you how to mine the gold, how to sit with the discomfort, how to face it, how to process it fully, how to know how to respond to it in a way that leads you back to yourself, that leads you back to alignment, an open-hearted feeling, an open-hearted space, calm, regulated, and relaxed. I don't tell you to go out and communicate your emotions to other people because, first of all, not everyone is safe to share your emotions with. And I understand the craving to do this because it comes from a place of wanting to be seen by others, which is a basic human need. So don't get me wrong when I say like your desire to communicate your emotions to others and have them receive it is healthy, is normal, is valid, but it isn't necessary in this work, and I don't focus on that. The work that I do focuses on you. We tend to focus a lot on other people when our needs aren't met. And the way to get our needs met is to focus on ourselves and focus on getting our needs met, not on other people. So when we're saying, when people tell me I want to be able to communicate with other people, I want to be able to share how I'm feeling. Why? That's my question. Why? Is it going to lead to an improvement in your relationship? Are you seeking validation that's completely normal and healthy? Are you seeking permission, right? Are you looking to be mirrored? We are interdependent beings. And so when we're children and we're not seen when our emotions show up, or we're shunned, or we're pushed aside, or we're punished, or we're shamed, it's very painful, and it can lead us to recreating that pattern later on because that's what we know. We have to learn something different if we're going to act differently, right? Otherwise, we're going to do what we know. And a lot of times we want to communicate our emotions to others because we're seeking that comfort and that support, but not everyone is capable of giving us that. And so we can actually harm ourselves further by doing all of this work, trying to get other people to listen to us and hear us and see us when they aren't able to. And it compounds the inner pain. It compounds that. So part of doing this work and learning to process our emotions is about, like I said, it's about connecting with ourselves. When we connect with ourselves, we connect with our intuition. When we connect with our intuition, we can discern who we can share our emotions with, who's safe and who we can't. And we can do so intentionally and deliberately, right? If we are chasing someone, we are begging for someone to see us, then there's wounding there. There's things that we need to look at within ourselves. Communicating our emotions is also about knowing what our emotions are, knowing how to name them, knowing how to talk about them. And we can only do that if we're honest with ourselves. A lot of times my clients will come to me and say that they don't get angry. And that tells me that they're not connected to their anger and they don't know how to recognize it, and they're not being honest with themselves when it's showing up. And there's lots of reasons for why that might be, but the reasons are not as important as the fact that getting honest with yourselves is the first step of communicating to anyone. We need to be able to communicate with ourselves. We need to be able to say, this is what I'm feeling, self. I am feeling like this. I am feeling angry. I'm feeling sad. And that is okay. And I can honor myself and I can hold space for myself. Because the other thing that comes with communicating our feelings to others, are we able to hold space for the feelings of others? If I communicate my feelings to you, am I prepared for how you're going to respond? Are you going to respond? I can't control how you're going to respond. So if you respond in a way that's rude or standoffish or uncomfortable, can I hold space for that? I don't have to process that. That's not mine. But is that going to lead to more emotions coming up for me? Or can I meet you in your humanity and see like, oh, you can actually handle this right now. And can I have empathy for you? But that only comes when we're communicating our emotions from a place of wanting to connect and not needing something that's missing. Does that make sense? I hope that's making sense so far. So stop trying to communicate your emotions to other people. If you can't be honest with yourself about what you're feeling first and foremost, you can't discern who you should communicate your emotions to. And you also can't be deliberate and intentional about why you're communicating your emotions to other people. When we're in relationships with people, sometimes we need to, if we want to maintain a connection, if we want to maintain a relationship, and other relationships, we need to recognize this person cannot handle this. They're not emotionally mature enough for this. And I need to just let them have their process and move in another direction with my life, right? And in that case, there's no need to communicate how we're feeling. So why do you want to communicate how you're feeling? To me, a lot of times it's about finding relief from what we're feeling. We want to offload it. We want to get it out. And I totally understand that. But what I see happen, especially when people start working with me, is that they're not getting out their emotion. They're getting out all the story. They're getting out all the story about what this person did and how this person was and what the event was and what happened. And I have to mind the emotion usually because we're not connected to it. So are you communicating your emotion Are you saying, sadness really showed up for me because I feel like you've been withdrawing and I want to connect with you, and I feel like our connection is getting weaker, but I want us to, communicate, and I know that I can't, make you want the same thing, but I wanted to communicate to you that that is what I was seeking. Is that the conversation you're having? Or are you saying like, when you did this, I was really upset and I didn't like how you did that. And I'm guilty of this. Don't take anything I'm saying as though I have it perfect all the time. I'm guilty of this too. I'm calling myself out too. Right? But today I have the awareness and I can do some work around it, and I can work with my mentor. And that is the third really important thing I want to say, is that finding support around getting clear with what we're feeling and practicing communicating with someone in a healthy way is going to lead us to communicating with other people in our lives as we move forward. I call my mentor and I talk to her about, whatever struggles I'm having, and I offload to her, and we practice together. Okay, how are you going to communicate this? And we mine, okay, what are the emotions showing up, and what is it that you actually are seeking to communicate, rather than going to the person first and maybe making more of a mess. Right? When I can't get a hold of my mentor, I'll dictate into my phone and listen back to it and type it out and work through it myself first. Listen to what the emotion is showing me first, practice it first, and then communicate it. Because I'm not communicating the story. I've processed the story, I've processed the emotions, and I'm communicating what I think would help me be in alignment with myself, what I think would help me improve the relationship that I'm trying to preserve. Sometimes the relationship can't be preserved, and then I need to go through the emotions of grief that show up. But it's important to get help and to have safe spaces to practice, because a lot of us did not have that growing up. Our caregivers did not afford us the safety of having our emotional responses and seeing us in our humanity and meeting us as children, needing that guidance. A lot of us did not get that. And so to expect yourself to be able to communicate how you're feeling and say, just teach me how to communicate what I'm feeling, I wish I could do that. But I don't want you to just start communicating what you're feeling. I want you to understand what you're feeling. I want you to get familiar with it. I want you to deepen your relationship with yourself. I want you to deepen your relationship with others. That's more important to me. Learning that skill, learning the skill of connecting to yourself is far more valuable for me to share with you than just how to communicate with others. I'm not going to give you a script, right? Because the reality is it will become more natural the more you practice doing this work of emotional processing and regulation and getting to the root of the things that are missing and getting to understand your beliefs and your stories. And the communication piece becomes a far easier. And it's even easier when you get to practice it in a safe space with safe people. And you get to learn and you get to sort through like, oh, is it even worth going there with this person or not? Is this person capable of handling this interaction in a mature way or not? And what do I need to do to take care of myself? That becomes the priority. And you get the relief that you're seeking from wanting to communicate and get it all out. That relief comes from knowing how to process your emotions in a healthy way. So if this resonates with you and you're like, yes, I'm ready. I want to learn how to do that. I want to learn how to process my emotions in a healthy way. I want to understand myself so deeply that the communication piece just flows more effortlessly. And I want to be able to have a safe space to practice and a safe support person to keep me accountable and help me along in learning the skill that I just didn't get the chance to learn. That is what I'm here for. So go to the link in the show notes or in my bio, message me on Instagram, send me a DM. Let's set up a call and talk about where you need support, how I can support you. My Getting Back to You program is literally the roadmap that is going to help you be able to better communicate your emotions. After working together with me and practicing with me, it's going to flow so much more naturally. Like one of my first clients, was never used to have conversations with his dad around emotions. Like they would never talk about it. And after 2 months of working together, they went for coffee one day and the conversation just flowed so effortlessly and so naturally. Because that comfort with the emotions has to come first, right? That is what helps us have the discernment. Like I said, that is what helps us know what to communicate. We're not seeking relief out of the communication. We're seeking connection. And that changes everything. That changes the whole dynamic. And you've had all this time to practice in our safe container so that you already know how to do this. It's like built in and you have that kind of understanding of yourself. So, like I said, if you are ready to do that, if you are ready to learn that, I am more than happy to guide you through it and help you. And I'm excited about it too. I'm excited to guide people through this because it's such a valuable skill. It's such a valuable skill and it's a lifelong skill that you gain after we work together. It's not just, this short period of time and then you're good. It's like, no, you will just be able to practice over and over and improve and continue to thrive, and your relationships will continue to thrive. And whether it's personal relationships, professional relationships, the same tools apply, the same skills apply. So if you're ready to do that work and to gain these skills, reach out to me and let's set up a clarity call and talk about how we can work together. And if this episode resonates with you, then please leave me a review on Spotify. Share this with people that you think it can benefit. Share this on social media. Let me know what you loved the most. What did you take away from this? What really resonated with you? Let me know. And if there's any other topics that you want to hear about. I can't speak in this episode. Bear with me. I've been recording a few podcasts in a row now, so I'm like, I think it's time to go to bed. But I love you for listening as always, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.